Welcome to the Conference Realignment Bros. I am Michael Newman.
And I'm Ryan Newman.
All right,
And
well...
maybe we get a little brother realignment here, Mike? Maybe we can just...
Oh, a nice little brother divorce? Yeah, we can talk about that after the pod.
Run its
I
course,
wouldn't mind that.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, the SEC has unanimously voted to extend an invitation to Oklahoma and Texas to join the SEC. So that ship appears to have sailed for the Big 12. In this episode, we're going to consider the option that the Big 12 schools get consumed by other conferences. And Ryan, you've thought a lot about this. You have assigned each of the schools, the remaining 8, to different conferences, the irate 8. So I'm ready to say that your ideas are stupid.
So, well, be ready. Okay. Before I talk about these 8 remaining teams, though, are you a little surprised that A&M? Because when we talked about this before, like we were kind of thinking A&M was like not going to want Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC. That you think they would have voted no, but did they just think like, okay, we know everybody else is going to vote yes, so it looks so bad for us if we voted no?
Yeah, I think for the purpose of posterity and moving forward, you don't want to be the one school that wasn't lockstep with the rest of the SEC. It just creates bad blood.
Especially when you're kind of new, right? Yeah, exactly. I don't really want them there, but I don't think they had a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so these 8 teams, I tried to weigh what the teams would obviously want, but then also the conferences, like some of the big conferences, Big 10, Pac 12, what they would need. Maybe they're like, hey, we don't really feel the need to extend an invitation to some of these remaining 8 teams. So this is ultimately what I came up with.
Okay.
I had 2 teams heading to the Mountain West, and I had Kansas State and Iowa State heading to the Mountain West. I think those are the 2 lowest of the 8 as far as draw. They just don't bring a lot to the table. I know Iowa State's good this year and have been last year, but that's a rarity. Of course, this is the best they've ever been at this time, and neither program offers a whole lot, football or basketball. So those go there. Pac-12 is going to get 2 teams. I have TCU and Oklahoma State. I think that would make for a kind of a nice pairing, at least for the Pac-12. They all have pairings there, so those would be a pair. Yeah,
I think there's a question of culture, with those two schools and whether they fit into the Pac-12, and of course those elitists out west in California. But so I question that a little bit, but it's possible if the Pac-12 decides it wants to be more relevant in the Midwest and kind of not be so isolated out west, then it's not impossible.
I think maybe to increase their footing a little bit, but so that would put the Pac-12 at 14 teams. That would also put the Mountain West at 14 teams. Then I have the AAC. I think they would take 3. I got Texas Tech, Baylor, and I have Kansas also going there. So that would make 14 teams for the AAC. And Kansas, of course, it really hurts them that their football team is just the worst Power 5 football program. Obviously, basketball is a big draw, but I don't know if it's a big enough draw for like a Big 10 school to say, hey, let's go and grab them. If Big 10 goes for 1, I feel like they have to go for 2. And who's the second one they go after? Would it be Iowa State? It's like, what does Iowa State bring? So I'm not seeing the Big 10 taking that.
Okay. Well, that would be great for basketball for that.
Yes, Baylor national title just this past year. Kansas perennial. Texas Tech's been good lately, but.
Yeah, and potentially in order to lure some of these schools, because the AAC is in survival mode right now too, because they could get poached by
it could be the
Big
other
12.
way.
Yeah, it could be the other way. There could be some sort of merger. Who knows? But if you're the AAC trying to survive, maybe you offer an increased share to some of those Big 12 schools.
Well, and we can kind of touch on it right now, though, is the ESPN factor. We've been kind of hearing about how ESPN's kind of supposedly maybe encouraging some of the Big 12 schools maybe to leave and go towards the AAC and might get the ESPN a little out of the deal of the Big 12, their contract.
Right.
So that's kind of a little bit of, I haven't really seen ESPN involved in conference realignment before, so this is kind of uncharted territory here. But anywho, the last team was West Virginia, and I think they're a good fit for the ACC. That would put the ACC at 15, which is an odd number, but maybe the ACC either just stays at 15 or maybe they somehow convince Notre Dame eventually to be a full conference member. But that's kind of how I see it playing out. I mean, that's odds of it going like that are, 1 in 100 maybe? But
yeah, anything
that's what I'm going with.
Is likely to be wrong. But
it's fun to talk about. It's fun to think about. Like, hey,
it is. West Virginia, they're one of the better brands, of course, of this remaining 8, if not the best.
I'd say they're the highest. Them and Oklahoma State, in my eyes, are.
TCU's pretty good too, but
yeah, it's true. TCU's pretty good.
But West Virginia. I wonder with the ACC again, like, is West Virginia good enough though to just add them? Like, you're having to split the pie of the ACC revenue with one more school. Are they really adding that much more value? Maybe they are, but obviously Notre Dame is one that you would happily add with them. But I don't see Notre Dame joining a conference anytime soon. So
yeah, it just seems like there's got to be some movement. You know, I just don't see it staying the way it is, right? So even though, I agree that it maybe won't add a ton, it is a stable, good program in both football and basketball, good fan base. Yeah, so that they make a good fit.
Yeah, there'd be some good rivalries between, of course,
Pitt.
Bring back, the backyard brawl.
That'd be great.
Louisville.
Geographically, it makes sense. So
okay, all right, so. There you have it. I think those were some interesting choices. Let us know in the comments below what you think. This is our just episode 1 of 2 episodes about conference realignment, because in the next episode, I'm going to make the case that the Big 12 does not eventually dissolve, but rather survives, stays together, and instead poaches from elsewhere. So be sure to subscribe to our feed if you haven't already, so you get that episode, and we will see you soon.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.